So I went to Dublin over the weekend.
Okay.
On my own. For the first time.
How was flying on your own?
Okay.
Did you
just
sit next to someone horrendous, or was it just like a regular? Well, to be fair, it can't have been very long.
I sat next to a really nice Irish man, and we chatted the entire way there.
Oh, that's adorable.
It was lovely. We started on like the football, and then that slowly eventually slipped to Brexit.
Oh, okay.
And apparently Ireland's drug problem.
Okay.
The increase of drugs, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't hear about that over here.
No. It was interesting, because I was sat next to him. I sat down. It was just me and him. And I was like, right, I need to say something, because if I don't start a conversation soon,
you're just never going to speak. Yeah, yeah.
And you'll get 10 minutes in, and it's like, should I say something? No, it's been too long now, it's weird.
And
then so, I don't remember what I said. And we just started talking. And
just some like generic icebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It was something like, so why are you going to Dublin?
That's a good conversation starter.
Yeah. That's a really good thing I found the entire time I was there. Is when you're away somewhere, and especially if you're staying in a hostel, because you know everyone else is away, that this easy first question is, so why are you here? Why are you in Dublin? Why are you wherever you are? And then the easy follow up from that is, how long are you here for?
Yeah.
What are your plans? What have you done?
And then from four generic basic questions, you can get into like a good conversation with someone usually.
Especially if you hear out their accent, like, so where are you from? You're asking about that, and very, really interesting. Met some really interesting people.
I feel like you stayed in a hostel.
Yeah.
One, I would never do that. That seems like hell to me. But I do feel like you would meet like the kind of people who go like interrailing.
Yeah.
Like backpackers.
There was a lot of those kind of people.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean,
like, I see why people do it. It's just not for me at all, even a little bit. I don't want to live out of my bag for 6 weeks.
I could not do it for 6 weeks.
It'd drive me insane.
I did 3 days, 2 nights, and that was enough. I was like, there was a very good reason why it was enough at the end of it, which I'll get to later. But yeah, I think that was enough for me. I like being at home anyway.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't want to jump, because although it was really fun going out and meeting new people and just it's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. It's making small talk is like, it's draining because it's so meaningless and like empty that you just don't get anything back.
Like if I met someone and then we spent a few days together, or just at least a couple of days, a night and a day, they wouldn't be too bad. But going every night and having to meet new people to start a conversation,
because of course people are going to come and go from the hostel all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it gets exhausting. I was like, at the end of it, I was like, I'm happy I'm going home and not somewhere else.
But I guess some people like enjoy that kind of thrill.
Yeah, a lot of the people I met, there was one girl that was travelling Ireland for 15 days, I think. Another girl that was doing Ireland, then she was going to Edinburgh, and then she was heading off to like Romania, Czech Republic, and all the places, Eastern Europe. And so some people are really into that. Yeah,
I can see why. Like it must be so exciting, like just wandering about on your own, exploring places, doing things.
See, I thought that would be the fun part.
Oh,
like partly, but that might just be me. But I found that hard work.
Like actually finding interesting things to do.
You find interesting things to do, and you walk around a lot, but it's not like super fun. Like I went to Kilmainham Jail, I went to a gallery, I went to Dublin Castle. Interesting things to find out the history of Ireland and all that kind of stuff. But you're walking around a lot.
Yeah, it's tiring.
No one to talk to. And so you're just in your own head the entire time. Like, this is interesting, but it's a hard grind. I've really got to try to push myself to go places, to do things, because otherwise you just sit there and be super bored all the time.
Yeah.
And so the high points were definitely meeting people, and everything else was a struggle. Because it's weird, because mostly enjoyed my own company before, but in that situation,
it was
so hard.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because, like, it's great being on your own in like your own space where you know everything and you can just do what you want to do. But when you've actively gone somewhere on your own to like explore, I guess it would put a little bit more pressure on it.
Yeah, and I didn't want to fill my days too much just in case it came to when I really didn't want to do it, or I wanted to be flexible in case something came up on a whim. So my days weren't jam-packed with stuff to do, so I had a lot of spare time in between seeing things. And so I'd be a bit... I could be like, I just want to go chill now.
Yeah.
I just need like a break.
Yeah.
Especially on the last day. So I'll go through it day by day. So that's probably the best way of describing it. So first night, got there. Obviously spoke to that dude on the plane. I thought it was like an hour and a half going out.
Oh,
it's annoying for an hour flight.
Yeah, you waited longer for the plane than you were on the plane.
But got there and I sat on the bed and I thought there were 3 girls in my dorm. And I was like, I need to say something. I should start talking because otherwise
it's awkward.
Because if I had it in my head because I know what I'm like. If I don't start talking immediately, I won't talk at all. And that'll be it. And I won't talk the entire time because I'll keep talking myself down. I'll be like, you couldn't manage it then, or you know, you're not. So I started talking. There was a German girl who replied. Because it was interesting. Because you kind of really know, in that situation when you're forced to talk to strangers constantly, you realise who's good at conversation, who's not, and how much more you gravitate towards the people who are.
Yeah.
The amount of people I spoke to, I went, so, what are you doing in Dublin? And they're like, oh, you know, here to see a friend, or here to see this thing.
And then they just have no follow-up.
Yeah, and I'd be like, so how long are you here for? Oh, just the weekend. So, oh, that's nice. Have you got any plans? Or, you know, what are you doing tonight? Oh, we're just going out to this Mexican place.
No follow-up questions.
No follow-up. And it's just like, right, I can't continue this.
Yeah, that's not how
I'm running
conversation
out of
works.
questions.
Yeah.
We need to, you know, ask me some back. We'll find some common ground. And
I feel like it kind of defeats the point of staying in a hostel if you're just going to, like, not converse properly.
Well, that was the interesting thing. Now thinking about it just now, the people who didn't reply were with friends. There was 3 girls there the first night. One of them was German, she was on her own, and one was Irish and then was Mexican. They knew each other from something, and they weren't very conversive.
Were they just speaking amongst themselves?
They weren't even talking amongst themselves. That was the weird part.
That is weird.
They were just getting ready for a night out, and they were quite quiet. To be fair, I don't think the Mexican girl could speak great English. She did try and talk, and you could tell she was.
It was a little bit like still a little bit not. Well, I mean, you know,
she tried.
It's not everyone's language.
Exactly. And so, but the one who was on her own, she really tried. And on the second night, there were 4 girls there. 3 of them were friends from Ireland, England, and Wales. And they'd all met in Southeast Asia, and they'd all decided to have a reunion in Dublin. Like,
that's kind of cute.
It's cool, but again, they weren't very conversive back to me.
They were in
because
there,
it didn't have to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But the other girl that was there, we really started chatting because she had no one else to talk to. So
you have to make a conversation in that situation.
And yes, that's kind of one thing I've discovered, which was, I guess, obvious, but also kind of interesting at the same time. And in part of that, it was also the fact that people are kind of, especially in that situation, are desperate to be spoken to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The amount of people I'd start talking, they'd perk up and be like, oh, someone's talking to me. I don't have to start this conversation. So every conversation I started, it was obvious that no one else had been talking before I'd got there. And I had to start things, but I was happy to be a catalyst in some way.
It seems so strange to be, like, you'd think the kind of people who are like inclined to go on to live in a hostel or to stay in a hostel for a short period of time are like extroverted, really chatty, they just want to go out and meet new people. I don't know, it just seems kind of like redundant to go in and then just sit and wait.
I think it might almost be easier to be introverted.
I guess so, because then you're more happy in your own company and you can just float about.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Because I was speaking to one of them, I don't remember who it was, and I was asking, you know, do you meet people wherever you go?
Mm-hmm.
She says sometimes I don't. And I was thinking like, that must be hard, to be in a place for 2 or 3 days, completely strange place, have
not
nobody
knowing
to
anyone,
talk to.
yeah.
Because I think, because before going out there, I was like, I've spent days not talking to people. I spend days in my house and I don't go see friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and then I thought about it more and I was like, that's not true. Because I speak to my parents like every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day at dinner we have a conversation. So every day, I also go to work, I speak to my co-workers every day. So I'm always having conversations, it's just...
You don't notice it.
I don't really notice it so much. So I think that's why it was hard for me, is I'm way more extrovert than I ever thought I was.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting.
It's weird when you have an experience like that, where for like the longest time you think, oh yeah, I'm quite introverted, I'm quite happy in my own company. And you go out and you're on your own company and you're like, I need another human.
Yeah.
I need one now.
Oh, it was very much like that. It's interesting that forcing yourself to do something like that that's so out there. It's not even that out there. It's not as if I did something crazy. I went to like the neighbouring country for like a couple of days.
Yeah.
It really
opens your
tests yourself, and you start to realise who you really are, as opposed to who you think you are or who you told you are. Because you, not in like a, but you know, you act a certain way and people kind of assume you to be that person. And when you go, especially around friends, so when you've been around friends so long, you get used to acting a certain way.
Yeah, you have your own little,
and when you have to go out on
niche.
your own and be your own person, then you really start to realise like who that person really is.
Okay, so that was, what did you do on your first day there? Because I assume you got there, you slept, and then you woke up.
No, I got there like 9.
Oh, okay, so you had a morning flight.
No, 9 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
And spoke to some people. It was really cute actually. The German girl I was talking to, we were getting on quite well, and she'd been walking all day. She was quite tired, and she said she was going to stay in. She went to the shower. And I was going to go outside. I still need to eat dinner. And I thought, you know what? I think it'd be nice to have some company. So, because I brought a notebook in case I wanted to write anything down, and I wrote a note to her saying like, "Hey, if you get bored of just chilling with Netflix, text me and come join me for a drink." I just left that on her bed. And she did end up texting me and she said like she's too tired, she's going to stay home. And I was like, fair enough. But I was like happy that I extended that branch to somebody. So I was like, if I was in that situation and someone asked me, I'd be like, yeah, I really appreciate that, thanks. And so I didn't end up finding anyone. I went out for dinner. Super friendly staff in Ireland. Really nice. Super nice. Had dinner, and then I was wandering the streets and there was a sign for a comedy event. I was like, I like comedy. It's better than just wandering around the bar kind of hoping for something, so I'll just go do that. It was £8 and there was like 9 acts, but I missed a couple of them. And it was really intimate. There was like maybe 30 people.
Okay.
So that was really interesting watching.
So you've got, as soon as like start-up comics, they're not big yet.
Definitely,
yeah.
But it was really interesting watching that very intimate comedy, where it's less about someone on stage and more just someone talking in a room. Yeah.
I assume there was a lot more crowd interaction.
Yeah, definitely.
I would have thought there was a lot more like poking fun at people in the crowd.
There was this weird turf war in the crowd between these two English. There was two English friends and then 2 English couples, and they started this weird turf war because at the start, you know, sometimes you go to a comedy store, the comedian will get a clapper.
Yeah.
And the dudes were clappers first, and then the couples ended up taking over because they were more enthusiastic and better. So that just started these guys off, and they'd like ping like digs at each other, and that added to the whole experience. And,
okay.
The audience is getting involved, and there was these Swedish people that getting picked on throughout the entire night. So it was really interesting watching that. That really intimate,
like dynamic.
Yeah. After that, it was over, and I was quite tired. It was like 11:30, 12 by that point. I was like, I can't be bothered going out and trying to socialise now. So I'm just going to go back to sleep. My head was right next to the window, so like no sleep, because our hostel was my hostel was just outside Temple Bar, which is like the most popular bar destination in Ireland.
Oh, so that's not great.
It's loud.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a whole street of bars down there as well. So I heard everything outside, so it was constantly just... I should have brought earplugs. That was an advice I read on an article I didn't take it.
Just lived to regret it.
And so poor sleep. Woke up in the morning and went for a wander around Dublin. Went to Kilmainham jail. Not a lot happened. I wandered for like 3 or 4 hours, just wandering into gardens and streets and like
just like exploring.
Bored, don't know what to do. Waiting because I'd booked Kilmainham jail. I booked a tour at like 12:30, so I was just like waiting for this tour. Because I booked it late just in case I went out that night and I woke up late. But I didn't. I woke up like 8:30, so I was like, why didn't I book the earlier one? Because then I could have got that out of the way. Wandered around, went to Kilmainham jail, wandered around that. I was really interested. Went to, I wandered past a gallery. Okay,
like an art gallery.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm tired, I kind of want to go back for a chill. And I was like, oh, but I need to go in because if I don't, I'm going to regret it. So I just went in, wandered around. There was the usual set of like shit art. It was like, to the high schooler do this.
Yeah.
There was some interesting art. What really got me was this weird little modern art section. There was just a massive picture on the wall of just someone's room, but the room was a tip. There was clothes everywhere, makeup everywhere, shoes all over the place. The whole ceiling had just been spray painted. There was just paint all over the wardrobe, splattered paint on the walls. And like, I'm a really tidy person.
Yeah.
So having that room or being in that room would just like trigger me. I'd be like, this is so annoying.
Yeah, it just drive you insane.
But it kind of embodied everything that I would also love to be, is to be able to be just so disorganized and almost in a way creative, because it was so just let it be.
Yeah.
Like everything I have to do, I have to plan meticulously. And like, why am I doing this? Is this right? Think about it. They just spray painted the ceiling on clear on just a whim.
Yeah, fuck it, I'll just do that.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's great. I love that idea. And I was just like, I couldn't do it. I'd lose it, but I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the creativity. I love the spontaneity of it.
Yeah.
And behind me was this. Jeez. So there was this screen, and there was this black guy talking.
Okay.
And that's, I guess, key to point out. And there was he had all these chains on, and with like these big like bling medallions, like 7 or 8 of them.
So like big golden bulky stuff.
Yeah. And he was chatting about galleries and how cool galleries were. He was clearly an artist, and how galleries were untouched by the dirty fingers of capitalism. Was a quote of his. I was sat there like, I'm not sure if that's correct.
Yeah, somebody's definitely making money.
Yeah, but I was like, whatever, your opinion's your own.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he kept talking about just how cool galleries were and all this, and how it's great to bring your friends here and whatnot. And then right at the end, he shows this clip of a fish being hunted, and it's just completely out of the blue, this clip, and I really, as this clip's playing, he just says, "Kill you for Jesus, kill you for Jesus, fish nigger."
What? Why?
I burst out laughing in this gallery.
Why?
What's this got to do with anything?
You clearly just don't understand his genius. Jack.
And then, but then these kids got on it after me and started listening, and they're with their grandparents, and I was like, should I let them know?
Yeah,
like,
should I warn them?
Says some serious words that the kids shouldn't hear at their age.
Did you warn them?
I didn't warn them. I was like, it's too weird.
Yeah, no. I don't think you can approach like an elderly couple and be like, "Hi, you can't let your grandkids listen to this." He says this because they're going to look at you like you're a crazy person. Yeah.
So I left. Okay. I went back to my hostel, and now you see, I enter my hostel, and the first thing I see right in front of me is my bed with someone else sleeping in it.
Okay, concerning.
And I'd left my charger plug in the wall as well, and he now had his charger plugged into my charger plug.
Wow, what a
So I was
freak.
like, yeah. So I was pretty pissed off. And he was like snoring. He was like sounder. And I was like, fuck's sake. I just like sat on another bed. And I was just like, what am I gonna do? So I was tempted to reach over and just steal my plug back. But I'm like, if he wakes up and just attacks me because I'm stealing his things, then that's pretty scary. I don't fancy that.
No, yeah, understandably.
So I was like, you know what? The charger's gone. Just forget it. I don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
I brought a big portable charger with me, so I can survive off that.
Yeah.
I don't want my bed back because he slept in it now. So I'm just going to steal another bed that had been made.
Okay.
So someone had left the bed. I wasn't stealing a bed. So I just.
So did you make your bed before you left?
No, but I think what had happened is someone had come in and made the beds. And one of the beds that was supposed to be made was unmade, and I think what happened was my bed had been made by mistake.
Oh, okay.
And one of the beds that should have been made wasn't.
Okay. That makes
So
sense.
I understand, but still, it's annoying.
Yeah, definitely. You got attached to that bed.
Yeah. Well, it kind of worked in my favour because I was away from the window now.
Yeah, okay. So, technically it would.
So I decided I needed a nap because I was going out that night because I'd found a leaflet for a pub crawl.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what a great way to meet people. I'm going to do that, but I need a nap first in order for me to survive the night because I've been out walking all day.
Yeah. And you didn't sleep well the night before.
Exactly. So I start sleeping, and at some point in the night, this guy wakes up. And he starts getting dressed in trousers, a black shirt, and like a black waistcoat. So I'm like, is he like a waiter?
Yeah, so like quite fancy get up.
Yeah. So he's clearly going to work, but the entire time he's getting ready, he's like groaning.
Okay.
Like super weird. Like everything's like a lot of effort.
Okay. That is strange.
It was strange. I was like listening to it like, this guy's super weird. So eventually he gets ready and leaves. I'm like, thank God.
I'm free.
I was freaking out. And I was napping for a bit, and then those three girls come in, the Welsh, the Irish and the English, chat to them for a bit, and decide, right, I need to go out for dinner because I'm hungry, get dressed for the night out, head out for dinner. I was this Japanese place, and I have these huge like deep fried tofu triangles.
Okay.
There was so much food. There was that, some like 6 of those, some veg, a small bowl of rice, and a bowl of soup. I was like, this is way too much food. It cost like €18. I was like, it was way too much food. That was just the main. It wasn't like a starter soup with the main.
No, that was the one
It was just
dish.
the main. I was like, why? You don't take the soup away. It's not needed. And so I eat that, and I had to like challenge myself, like, just one more tofu. Just get that down, and I'll stop. And I'll eat that. I was like, just finish the veg. I'll finish that. And I'll stop. Yeah. I actually finished it all, and I was sat there while I was eating it, and I was like, this is definitely going to come back up later. So,
did it?
You'll see, I guess.
Okay, I'm excited.
So, I leave there, and I decide I'm going to go back to the hostel, drop my coat off, because I don't want to carry my coat around.
Yeah, and you don't want to have to, like, stick it in what's the word? Like a coat cupboard? Why can't I remember the word for that? You know what I mean.
Cloakroom.
That's the one, thank you.
Yeah.
That'd be ridiculous.
I went back to the hostel, and there was this girl laying there, so I thought, I'll just start chatting.
Yeah.
So I start chatting to her, and she's from Colorado.
Oh, okay.
And so we're talking about the difference in America and the UK, the schooling over there, schooling here, and all that sort of thing. And so the conversation keeps going. I eventually go, so what are your plans tonight? She's like, I don't really know, I was looking for that earlier. I was like, well, I'm going for a pub crawl if you want to join me.
Okay.
She was like, yeah, sure, why not? And that was like another moment I realised, like, people like being invited to things.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I was just like...
It's nice to feel involved.
Exactly. And especially if you're out there meeting people, it's just... And so I was like, yeah, come with me. And she's like, yeah, sure. So we went... She hadn't eaten yet, so we went to get a sandwich, and then we went to the first pub. And with the first pub, I had... I got a free half Guinness.
Oh, okay.
Which is the first Guinness I've ever had.
What did you think?
It's horrible.
Yeah, I can't stand Guinness.
Drank half of it and just put it down. Couldn't like it. I also had like a rum and lemonade while I was there as well. And then these two guys are organising this pub crawl of 100 people.
That's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people. So you can imagine everywhere we went to was packed, and then we'd leave at the place to die. So
are the two guys organising it also drinking?
Yeah, but not to like such a heavy extent.
Okay, I was going to say, because like logistically that must be a nightmare.
Yeah, they were funny guys. They were nice guys. And so on the way out, I get chatting to this other girl who's dead chatty, like really great company, and she ends up introducing me to these two other friends, and they're all American. They're from Boston.
Okay.
And so I essentially spend the entire night with these 4 girls. So just me and a bunch. I've gone to Ireland and spent my time with Americans essentially. But those are really good people to hang out with. Americans are really chatty.
Yeah, they're all
the Irish are really chatty.
Yeah, positive.
And because I was thinking before I went out there, I was like, I wonder if I'd go to France. If this goes well, I might go to France and do it. But now I'm like, maybe not. Because although in the hostel there might be people who speak English, most people won't, or will speak poor English. And I can't go out and start trying to converse with French people because it's going to drive me insane. Yeah. So anyway, I end up going around all these pubs, having a great time, dancing, chatting, getting to know everybody, really nice, really nice. And then at the door of every bar, we're taking a shot.
Okay.
And when we get there, we're having a drink. So it's going down quite heavy, and it's a different shot every time, a different drink.
Oh,
so I'm mixing.
That's a bad idea.
Crazy. And I end up getting to one of the bars, and I go, right, doing Sambuca. I get 2 Sambuca shots, bam one down, bam the other down, and then I stand there and go, terrible idea. I instantly walk out the bar onto the street and throw up right in the middle of the street in front of everybody. I see people going, "Oh no!" I just walk off. I was like surprisingly unembarrassed. I was like,
okay, well, I guess I was like that drunk.
I was just like, I didn't feel drunk, but I think I was way drunker than I thought I was. I was just like, in my mind, I was just like, it needed to be done.
Deal with it.
Yeah, so I walked out. I walked around the block just to like get some air and make sure I wasn't going to throw up again. And then I walked back around to the bar, and the bouncer went, "Nah, mate, you ain't getting back in." And I was just like, "Yeah, fair enough.
Can't really say no to that.
Argue with that."
Yeah.
And so I knew they were coming out the bar. They were doing a pub change in like half an hour. So I thought I'll just wait. It's not that long.
No, not at all. So
I just stood at the side and just followed around. I started waiting. And then 2 minutes later, the bouncer came back and was just like, I thought he was going to come back and go, "Mate, you can't stand here. Like, get away from the bar." But he didn't. He came back and went, "Hey, mate, just, next time, just go to the toilet, yeah?" And he let me back in. I was like, what a nice guy.
What a hero.
That was amazing. I was like, so I met back up with the friends and we started with just, I told them what had just happened. And then on my stomach was just tender, and so I couldn't drink anymore. So I knew it was going to come straight back up again. Yeah. But I was dancing and enjoying myself. Went to a couple more pubs before we decided to go to a diner to get something to eat before heading home. So we did have admission to a nightclub as well, but by that point we couldn't be bothered because from the second to last pub to the last pub, it chucked it down, and I was just in a shirt. So I was drenched, my hair was wet, their hair was wet, everyone was wet, so no one was feeling going to a club after that. But we'd been drinking since 8:30, so it was a bit like, and we've been changing constantly, we'd been walking a lot, so no one really fancy now going for a rave.
It's fair. I don't think anyone would fault you there.
Yeah, so we went to a diner, got something to eat, got chatting to this gay couple. They just started talking to us, so I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then this other guy, an Irish guy, came over and he was showing me a video of the time he flipped his mate's car.
What?
Yeah, they went out, got drunk, and then...
I mean, to be fair, if I had a video... Wait, not as in like... I when you said flipping a car, I pictured he gets it by the bumper and flips it like you would a table.
No.
That's so disappointing.
He went drink driving.
Okay.
And flipped the car to its side.
No longer interested. If it had been a guy flipping a car like a table, mate, show me that video all day.
Man
yeah,
level of
I'd be into that, but
no, this is irresponsible trying to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just it's this video of him, and he goes, "That's my car," and he pans over, "That's my mate's car." I was like, obviously just after the crash, where the car's like still on its side. I'm like you could have died.
Yeah, this isn't a joke.
And like the self-awareness wasn't there with him. Like he didn't care. And it's like, okay, he's like, that's something they do. They get drunk and go driving in the countryside. I was like,
it's a terrible idea.
I thought we'd gone past that.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Apparently not.
And so eventually we decided to leave and we start heading back to the hostels. I'm getting absolutely drenched while this is happening. And one of the girls hands me a phone and goes, "Add yourself on Facebook." And this is the point where I go, damn, I don't have any social media.
Oh,
and because I've always thought, I don't need social media, I never use it. I don't post, I don't watch it, so I don't see why I need it. And anybody I talk to and are friends with, I have their numbers and I contact them that way.
Yeah.
So why on earth would I ever need Facebook? And then that moment I was like, oh, this is why I need Facebook. Because when I go out and I meet new people, and because the entire time I was there, they were like, yeah, come to Boston. We'll put you up. It'll be a sick time. I was like, that sounds amazing. And then I was like, I do have a Facebook. So there's no easy way of contacting them anymore. I mean, I gave them my number and my email.
Your email? Jack,
email.
We don't live in the 90s anymore.
Yeah, but if they text me, they would have cost them because it's international. Mm-hmm.
Did you get their email?
I didn't get their email. I was like...
Amateur move.
It was an amateur move. So the power's in their hands.
You're never getting an email.
I know, I'm never getting
That's
an
tragic.
email.
That is tragic.
Well, I have to go to Boston and just start like
just
wandering
stalk
around
women.
signs. I only know their first names. So.
Oh, God. I completely forgot you don't have any social media. That blows my mind.
So that was like, shit, maybe we need to reevaluate that decision. At least get Facebook.
You definitely don't. You're so free right now.
It is. It's nice not having it because I'm like completely free from it. But then there's that whole side of things. Like,
it's not worth it.
It'd be nice to be able to...
The chance of meeting somebody on a night out where they have to pay international fees to text you is so small. It's not worth it. I'm telling you, you are free from the toxicity of social media, and please, I beg of you, do not get involved because it's all I do. I will lie in bed, I'll go like, oh yeah, it's about 2 in the morning. That's normally when I go to bed. I'll get in bed and I will just scroll through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, over and over and over till like 5 in the morning. Not even doing anything with my time. Don't do it. Yeah, no. Don't give in. Keep rid of it. Keep free. You are the chosen one. Okay, so you had one more day there?
Yeah,
that was...
So I said goodbye to them all.
Were they in a different hostel to you?
Yeah, so I ended up going back to my hostel. At this point, there was only me and the 3 girls. The first girl I met at the hostel right at the start, she went home early. Yeah. So I go back and I dry myself off my towel, get changed, get in bed. And I'm laying there and I'm rolling around. I'm feeling a bit dodgy. And I'm like, nope, not feeling good at all.
Okay.
And so I go in the bathroom and I throw up. And it's not the good alcohol vomit of, it's finally out.
Yeah.
It's the proper, I'm ill, thrown up through the weird food I'd eaten and the amount of it and the mixing of the drinks. Mm-hmm. It was just pain. And so I got all that out, went back down, laid down for a bit, had to lay on my back, and then the moment I laid on my side I was like, oh, my stomach didn't like that. Back to the toilet, threw up again. Did that like a couple more times. So eventually managed to get myself under control and managed to fall asleep. And then the next morning I was like, the girls were chatting. I was like, I do apologise if I disturbed any of you in the night. And they were like, no, you weren't too bad. When we heard you throwing up, I was going to come check on you, but I thought, he's alright.
I mean, if I'm in a hostel and I hear a stranger throwing up, like I'll help a friend who's throwing up, but they're a friend, like a stranger, unless they're like on their side, clearly like need to be put into the recovery position. I'm sure they'll be okay.
I felt bad for them because I was like, I'm totally waking them up now. And that must be terrible. If they're the sort of people that feels ill if they hear someone being ill.
Oh no, that'd be hell.
It's going to be awful.
Because then you couldn't throw up because the other person's throwing up in the toilet. No, thank you.
But they were alright. They were nice about it. So I was like, alright, okay. Fair enough. But because of the whole ordeal and the fact that it was so food-based, the fact that I threw up, I couldn't stomach food for the rest of the day.
Oh, that's tragic.
Anything I thought of eating, I was like, this makes me feel sick. So I didn't eat the entire next day.
Okay.
But my flight home wasn't until 9:30. Okay. At night.
Yeah.
So I had all day. And I was just tired. I didn't sleep very well. So I was ill all night. I hadn't eaten, so I hadn't have any energy from that. And so I was next level exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, I was walking super slowly. At one point, I found these benches right next to the river, and I laid down on them, put my bag on the back of my head, put my hands in my pockets, and had a nap for an hour. Outside, I was just like, I probably look homeless, but I couldn't give a shit right now.
Wow, that's a level.
That is a level. I need some rest. Because I had Dublin Castle at 2:30. And I needed time to kill till then. I wandered around, just up and down, just like, I just need time to kill. I eventually went to Dublin Castle like an hour early and just sat on some stairs, just waiting. Just like, I feel awful. I need to do this. I paid for it already. And Dublin Castle was really interesting, but I was in so much pain the entire time.
I used to go to a lot of castles when I was younger, and I think that's one of the, like, if you're into that kind of stuff, one of the main benefits of living in England is there's just castles fucking everywhere.
The history of it was super fascinating. I found out why Dublin's called Dublin.
Because it keeps Dublin.
It's because when they built the main, like, Dublin settlement.
Yes.
And then behind it there was this, like, I think they called it like the Black Bog or the Black Lake or something because of the algae that grew underneath.
Oh, okay.
And
it's like a swamp of some sort.
Yeah, essentially. And the Irish called it like something like Dulane or some Irishy word. And then when the Anglo-Saxons came over,
they couldn't quite understand.
They Anglicised it and called it Dublin.
Yeah.
And then that's why it's always been called Dublin.
That makes sense.
So it's interesting because your city's named after someone mispronouncing it. Like,
there's a little bit. It's not something you'd really advertise. No.
It was barely named. It was just mistook.
Okay, so Castle was great.
Yeah, Castle was really good. I struggled the entire way. I had to sit down at every opportunity because I was like, I'm going to pass out if I don't sit down. I was struggling to walk. Every now and again I'd feel nauseous. The whole time that day I needed a shit, but I couldn't because I had nothing to shit. So the entire time was agony. I finished up in Castle and I was like, I'm going to go to a Costa and sit there for 2.5 hours.
Good plan.
I got a hot chocolate and just sat there. I'm just like, I'm just going to rest and just chill. And I got my journal out and wrote down everything that had happened to me.
Yeah.
And that took me like an hour, so that killed a nice bit of time. Eventually finished that. Went to go to the coach stop to wait for my coach, and literally 2 minutes before my coach got there, guess who came down the road? The 3 girls from last night.
No way!
Yeah, I saw them, I was like, what timing, just as I'm about to go. And I told them about the terrible time I had the night before, and and how, you know, what they've been doing that day.
Yeah.
And then my coach was like, well, I've got to go. It was nice meeting you all. And then they said again, we'll email you. And I was like, yes, please do.
We'll email you. That's so funny.
And then I got my coach. Went back. So I went to the airport an hour early because I knew it's socially acceptable to nap in an airport.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And they have these weird, in Dublin Airport, they have these weird circular booths in the wall where it's just like a circle pod.
Like cut out of a wall?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And is it like cushioned?
Yeah.
So amazing.
I went in there and slept there.
Sick idea. Sick idea.
And yeah, airport was alright, chilled there for a bit. I saw the Scottish rugby team.
Oh, okay.
Because they just played the Six Nations that
day. Yeah.
I don't know what the result was. They all looked pretty dejected, so I think they lost by their facial expression.
Yeah, I can't. I would make a comment, but
It
I
took me
have
ages to figure
literally
it
no
out. I
idea.
saw two guys in identical suits walk by, and I was like, wonder who they work for. And then more guys in identical suits. And then I saw a few more guys in identical tracksuits. And then those people together. And I looked close and it said Scotland. And I was like, oh, it must be the Scottish rugby team because everyone's fucking huge.
Yeah, that's a good.
I was like, this makes sense.
Yeah, good
And
connection.
So I end up leaving. Go to my gate.
Mm-hmm.
And the weirdest thing happens. I'm just sat there. And first I noticed this Muslim couple.
Okay.
And I only noticed because, you know how married women tend to only have the slits for the eyes?
Yes, in the burqa.
Yeah, well, this one didn't have that.
Oh,
It was
okay.
just a shroud. It was just a veil.
Okay.
And I was like, this is crazy.
Okay, fair. I kind
There's
of...
no person there. It's just a black... She looked like a ninja. And I was like, this is ridiculous. How can she see where she's going?
Okay, maybe it's like
black.
a partially see-through veil.
I can see through it from my side.
Maybe it's like a one-way
she
mirror.
Struggled to see through it that
Okay.
side. The material doesn't work like a one-way mirror.
You don't know that. Are you a fashion
I
designer?
don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's not a material.
Well.
I was just like, that's next level. Let's take it to the next level. Let's hide them completely. So anyway, then this family starts sitting around me, and so they completely surround me.
Okay.
And they are sitcom worthy. Everyone's a character.
Okay.
And everyone's like, yeah, I can see exactly how this worked. There was an old woman in like ridiculously high heels. There was this really flamboyantly gay guy. There was like the really annoying sister. There was like one of the nicer brothers and the weird outcast
So
brother.
they were all
and,
like
the
caricatures.
Mum. Everyone was a caricature. It's like,
Okay.
this is, and the asshole dad, and this is amazing. All from Manchester. I was like, this is the perfect
Obviously.
family. I can imagine they all live in terrace houses on the same road.
Yeah, like next door to each other.
Yeah. And I was just like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And we all get on the plane, and they're all dead rowdy. And it's annoying, so I'm like, I'm tired, and I kind of want to sleep,
Yeah.
but it's also like, this is also hilarious.
Yeah.
The gay guy's trying to start a song. He keeps going, I want to make everyone sing so we can go viral.
That's a life goal right there.
No one obviously joining in.
Yeah, because why would you? You're on a plane.
Yeah.
It's like, right, I'm going to, quick aside. Do you clap when a plane lands?
No, but they did.
Of course they did. Oh, it's the worst thing in the world. It just angers me so much. It's not a theatre production. It's a successful
It's like
aviation manoeuvre.
It's like applauding the bus driver when he gets to
Literally, like, yeah, thanks. Oh, anyway,
Yeah.
continue.
So, at one point, like the dad's behind me speaking to one, and he's really loud, and he's constantly just taking the piss. I think his daughter who's next to him, and then I think it's his other daughter, I assume, a few rows ahead, and she just turns around and shouts back at him, and they have a bit of like a banterous argument. Like it's really not too serious, but they're kind of stinging, and she just says, "Doesn't matter, you're a shit dad anyway," and so everyone's expecting like, ooh, all the family burst out laughing. So you know, like, this is an in-joke. This is, like, common in this family.
That's so surreal.
It is. It's like that. And the dad laughs. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Wow.
So, yeah, eventually I land Manchester
I hope so.
Airport and I head out and I go straight out. I leave, walk straight through the terminal, walk straight through baggage reclaim and right out, and I'm like, what happened to passport control? So passport control didn't exist. So,
Wow. Concerning.
Yeah, no. That was my trip to Dublin.
Wow. I don't know what I expected when you told me you were going, but it wasn't that.
I don't know what I was expecting either.
No, I guess that was kind of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's never going to be what you expect.
Yeah. It's definitely made me want to travel more. Just like, I want to fuck off somewhere for a weekend on my own and just see what happens.
It's defo worth it. Like, it's... Especially you, because you can talk to people, so you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think even if you went with a friend...
Yeah.
I think... I mean... Maybe a girlfriend But the thing is, when you go with a girlfriend, it tends to become a romantic holiday.
Yeah, it's no longer let's just go dick about. It's let's go do this and that and this.
Yeah, I want to go for a romantic meal. I want to go for drinks with you. I don't want to meet her and all that. And I mean, it depends on the girl.
Yeah, obviously.
The girl might be dead extrovert. It's like, I love meeting people too. Yeah, let's go
Let's
for
go
it.
do that
And some
together.
couples are like that, and it's great. Others are like, I want it to be romantic. So, but with a mate, and if you're both going with the same objective of let's go out and meet people, because it's so easy if you go with a friend of I'm going with a friend, I'm being here with a friend, and you just spend
do
your time with
things
your mate
as like a duo.
and you will on the day. And I think that's how I'd rather do it because the day was hard graft, really hard.
Whereas at the night, people are just going out and getting pissed. It's
The
easy
night
to
is
take
easy.
people when
You
you're pissed.
talk to everybody. Everyone's up to talking.
Yeah.
To
No, if a stranger comes up to you in the middle of the day, I look at you and I go, "Excuse me." If it's just trying to like spark random conversation, if I'm walking down the street, but if somebody does that and I've just left a club, mate, I've made a new best friend.
Exactly. And it's hard to. Where's that conversation in the day going?
Yeah, it's usually somebody wants something. It's not just small talk.
Yeah, it's like it's not as if like you're not going to meet someone at 2, start chatting in the queue of something, and then go, "Hey, I'm going to this museum. Do you want to join me?"
Yeah.
No, I'm busy.
I have plans.
I'm doing something.
Yeah.
But at night, it's like, "Hey, I'm going to this bar. I'm going to this pub. You're out on a night out. I'm on a night out. We
Let's
clearly have.
fucking do something.
We're going. We're way more inclined to do something." So it makes sense. So I think if I was to do it again, maybe with a friend who's like-minded, who wanted to go out and meet people at the night, but then also experience what's going on in the day as well. Or work out a way that does involve more people in the day, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
You do more social day activities, but I know what they are.
I don't really know. I'm always busy in the day. I work, so like
Exactly.
I don't have time to do things in the day.
I never do things in the day.
If I do things in the day, it's like what's the word? Errands, like getting a haircut, going to the bank, stuff like that.
Where it's consistent hobbies, and that's not something you're going to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I think this has been interesting. I think we should call it a day. But
yeah, fair enough. It's been 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's been like
45 minutes just about Dublin. Oh.
Yeah, wow, I'm impressed.
That is crazy.
No, I think it was interesting. I enjoyed it. I hope people enjoy it. That's the main thing.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess we'll see.
Well, it means I don't have to tell anyone about Dublin anymore.
It's true, you can just
I'll link
link
to my
them
podcast and you can just watch that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right, okay, buzzing.